The National Army Museum's collection of the Indian Army is really unparalleled in what it tells us about Anglo-Indian connections in the past and potential conflict of the past. It's really difficult to engage with that material and has been because it represents quite difficult periods of history. The British Indian community have been fantastic in sharing their stories and coming to the project with a really open mind. And it's been hugely illuminating to work with the collection items in a new and diverse way and really confront some of those narratives head on.
The Kaur Values project takes its name from the word Kaur, which is a middle name traditionally given to Sikh women. We've worked with these volunteers who are not professional artists but have an interest in art in some way or another. And in order to facilitate them with this project, we have worked with Indian miniature expert Amrit Kaur.
When we had our first meeting and we were bombarded, frankly, with tons of images, and I always stick with my first gut feelings. And the first one that I went towards was the sword. And immediately an image came up to me. So to actually have it physically in front of me, to be able to take photographs, to be able to take some drawings also, and I think that we were just very lucky, and as an artist, to be able to do that and have hands-on material, which I've been raving about to whoever I meet, and so for me it's been good.
There were several themes that underpinned this project, and each of our artists explored different themes unique to them or their experiences in looking at our collection. Some of our artists chose to explore the evolving identity of the Sikhs over time, looking at how the turbans changed colours, how the styles of tying them had changed, and how the uniforms or the clothing that they wore changed. Some of the artists chose to look at historical narratives, so events that occurred during the First World War. But perhaps the theme that resonates the most with the artists is the lack of women featured in many of these paintings and many of these photographs. So as a response, some of our artists chose to have females as the central figure.
So my image is about depicting what the women, when the men left for the wars, what they were left to deal with, because there's no picture for that, there's no story for that. There's no artifacts, there's no medals, there's nothing. And they're the unsung heroes. So for me, it's all about showing that image, how strong they were. My image has got 6 arms depicting the various different things that this woman would have had to face with. And ants have 6 arms. I know it's not the nicest of comparisons, but ants are very strong creatures. They carry I don't know however much times their own body weight. So I think they had to be strong, the women had to be strong.
I'm a makeup artist and I specialise in henna hair and makeup. I help women adorn themselves and get them ready for their big day. When I was researching into the project, I was surprised to learn how many men left their brides at home to fight in the war. If men were killed in action during the war, the families back at home, including the brides, would be presented with a token. The token is also known as the death penny. In my image, I wanted to pay homage to the sacrifice of these men and tell a story of the brides back home. I've shown a bride wearing her traditional bridal wear. On her forehead, the bride would normally wear a traditional tikka. Instead of that, I've replaced it with a death penny.
In the thick of a battle, Manta Singh saw his comrade, his friend, get injured severely, and he saw a wheelbarrow in no man's land, and he grabbed it and he put his comrade in the wheelbarrow and he took him to safety. If you want humanity to be successful, you have to look beyond. And he saw someone he was friends with injured. His instinct was to grab whatever you can, pick him up, get him out of here. And it didn't occur to him that in the process, he will lose his life or he will get hurt himself. That was not going through his mindset. And that was the idea that, that it plays on your heartstrings and it's endearing and you don't see an endearing part of a soldier.
Well, the collection allowed me to see items from early Sikh history, along with images, along with writings from what people had seen firsthand, through to Sikhs in the First World War. So it was very easy to see that transition from the blue to the khaki, from their uniforms, from the way they were disciplined and all sorts. I guess the collection allowed us to see so much in such a short time. I guess my experience was really different and difficult because I hadn't painted for a long time. I had my own boundaries that were stopping me and my own critics in my own mind that were telling me, no, you can't paint anymore and you can't draw anymore and you're not capable anymore. And I think for me to come along to the workshop and just see, wait a second, I can do it and I can have a go and I can achieve it again. And then being able to create something that I'm now actually very proud of was not only my biggest struggle, but probably my biggest achievement. So I can't thank this workshop enough.
The Indian Army projects more generally have meant that we've been able to really work with community gatekeepers for the British Indian community, who bring with them a raft of understanding and a raft of perspective that really helps us understand more about our collection. We've worked in workshop situations and really scrutinising again some of the very specific things in the collection that otherwise we really don't know very much about.